Hey, so we are here with Carolynn Sauer, and she was one of the writers in the Invincible Family Project, and that is a book that is making serious waves in the world right now. We live in a world where families really need to remember their own sovereignty. You know, they need to remember what it looks like for them to do them, and just everything else in the world can take a back seat to what the family has going on. You know what I'm saying? So, Carolynn, I would love for you to just share with us, the beginning part of what your chapter was about. Like, where were you at?
Well, first of all, I am a mom of 6. And so we made the decision quite a few years ago that I was going to stay home. That was always a dream of mine. In fact, I planned my degree. I have a degree in elementary education, and I planned that around being able to still have a family, because being a mom has always been what I wanted to do. I knew since I was teeny tiny that that's what I was put on the earth to do. And we actually ended up having kids sooner in our marriage than what we had thought. We wanted to, be married a year or two before we started having kids, and we got pregnant 3 months after we were married. So, and then with the first 4, we never made it to a second birthday without another one being out. And so, like, when my 3rd was born, my oldest still wasn't, he was, 2 months away from being 3. So, 3 in diapers, no multiples. And then when our 4th was born, same thing. So anyways, then it took us 7 years to get the last 2 here. But anyway, so we have a normal gap. It's huge to us, but a normal gap from 4 to 5 and 5 to 6. But anyway, so I just knew from really early on that I was meant to be a mom. My mom did in-home daycare for 13 years of my childhood. And so I literally grew up around kids, and so just knew that I wanted to be a mom. I decided I wanted to be a teacher because I figured that would be the best job that I could have that could fit around my kids. And I mean, I do come from a long line of teachers and helping kids, it all just fit together. But anyway, so yeah, I started teaching, and since we did start having kids sooner than what we thought, I did work for 3 years while we were having kids, but I did have to go down to part-time because having our first 2 kids are only 13 and a half months apart, and so they were both considered infants as far as childcare goes, and infant childcare prices are insane.
So expensive.
Yeah. And I was working at a poor little Catholic school, and so I didn't make enough money to pay for childcare, so I went down to part-time and did part-time for a couple of years before we ended up deciding that I just needed to stay home, because it just got to the place where 3, 4 kids is a lot to try and handle 2 people working and managing the kids and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I started staying home and was home for a while, and then, like I said, we had 2 more kids, and so we were a family of 8 on 1 income. And talk about the stress and pressure for my husband. And then what made me join HBR is it was hard for me to be a stay-at-home mom. Here I was, thought this was what I was supposed to do my entire life. Felt very blessed to be able to have children, because I know that's difficult for many, many people. But I wasn't good at it. I felt like I was failing, kind of one of those things. My husband would come home and, oh, what did you do today? It's well, I did laundry and dishes, and I kept the kids alive, and there's still laundry to do, and there's still dishes to do, and there's still children to keep alive. And so it was just hard emotionally and mentally to feel like I was making a difference. I know being a parent is important. I know that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. I feel like that's the way we're going to change the world, is by creating amazing people. And so I know that, but it's hard for the head and the heart to align on that a lot of times. So it's kind of like, I know this is important, but this really sucks that this is the third load of laundry I've done and we still have this, like, it just feels like you're making no progress, no ground, nothing. And that really started to take a toll on me emotionally. I just kind of, like, I took it as failure because, yes, I was working all day, but at the end of the day, you couldn't tell that I was doing anything other than my children were still breathing. So, yeah, that was hard. Not to mention the stress on my husband of being the sole provider for 8 people. I mean, 8 people.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit.
So how much of your desire to bring in income was it based on being able to just give your husband some breathing room or honor it? It's almost like financially honoring him. It's like it's an interesting way to look at it. But my very first thing, and we didn't even have our business yet, but my first thing in corporate America was being able to make enough money so I could bring Mike home from work, right? And it was to honor him, and he hated his job and whatever, and it was being able to, and that, I think that's important to a lot of us as wives, right? Is making sure that our husbands feel seen, heard, and also honored. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I started thinking it was mainly for the money, just to help out. Because, of course, the stress and all of that also seeps into your marriage. But we didn't have any money to go on dates, or, it was one of those things we could either, especially when the kids were younger, we either had money to go out on a date or we had money to pay a babysitter, but we didn't have money for both, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Luckily, our kids are older now. We're in the sweet spot right now, so we are living it up as much as possible. But, just like those little things. And then when life decides to happen, something breaks on the car, or the washing machine goes out, or your refrigerator goes out. Refrigerators are expensive. Oh, my goodness. Sorry. Little side note there.
We're just going to go back to ice boxes, right? Just give me a box and let me put ice in it.
Yes. I mean, it was one of those things, like, we were fine as long as life didn't happen. But I mean, hello, family of 8, life is going to happen. And so that's when the stress started coming in. Yeah. And I just wanted to relieve some of the stress. But then what I ended up getting out of it a lot more was just my mindset. And it made me feel like, yes, I can still be a good mother. And yes, I can put my family first.
Yeah.
But like, it's been amazing to see my kids celebrate when I accomplish things, like I became a bar instructor over this past year. I loved your live this morning about, where are you going to be in a year? And I was just thinking back to where we were a year ago, and it's amazing. Yeah. But like, my kids saw me, struggle learning something new. They saw me practice. They saw me, be nervous and scared, and as you call it, in the puke zone. And like, now I could show up, and half the time, I don't even know what I'm going to be teaching before the class even starts. Like, a lot of times I'll show up and ask the clients, hey, is there anything specific you want to do today, or anything you don't want to do? Whereas this time last year, I was literally almost puking before I'd teach a class, just that kind of stuff. And then knowing that my kids are seeing that, but I'm also helping other people be the best people that they can be, which... Yeah. Again, then they take home to their families, and it's just this nice ripple effect, which is amazing.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. That's one of the most soul satisfying things whenever you can see that ripple effect happening, because income is cool and all, but man, impact is where it's at. That's where your soul is fed, right? And so I would just say to any moms that are watching this, that are like feeling this same way, where it's like, man, it feels like Groundhog Day, right? It feels like, man, this laundry doesn't stop. The dishes don't stop. What am I like? Am I actually really even helping here? And not saying that you're not, but those are the weird things that go through our minds, right? Where we're of massive value, but sometimes we just have a hard time seeing it, I would suggest grabbing the book, reading Carolynn's chapter, seeing what Carolynn's up to, hopping into her social media, all of the things, and just really align with her and come alongside her. If you're resonating with her story and how she presents herself and what she's going through and what she's done already just in the last year, if you're like, man, I'm just really looking to align with somebody like that, then come alongside Carolynn, because that's what this is about. So it's making sure that you find your people that you resonate with and that you really you feel them on a cellular level, so we can all just be each other's guides into a better way of life. So Carolynn, thank you for writing the chapter. Thank you for being in the book, and thanks for doing this video. This is cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, everybody, we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.